Thanks for having me here today. My name is Sam Minsky. I'm a marriage and family therapist, and I've been working for the Matrix Institute on Addictions for about 16 years. I'm a substance abuse counselor and a clinical supervisor and trainer. What we're going to do today, we're going to talk about the brain model of addiction. One question that people always ask, and it's hard to understand sometimes, especially for family members. Why do some people become addicted and others don't? And it used to be that we thought people became addicted because they were bad, because they were crazy, because they were willful. But we now know, because of the advances of modern technology and PET scans and MRIs and research that's being done all the time, that really what happens is that for some people, there are changes in brain chemistry that make it almost impossible for them to not use drugs or alcohol once they get started. So the dog's brain became wired to the sound of the bell as meaning that they're going to eat. Once the dogs were conditioned this way, no matter how smart the dog is or how well trained the dog is, you can't tell it, when I ring this bell, I don't want you to drool. It can't happen. The dog has no control over it at that point in time. The same thing happens with people, not only with food, but with drugs and alcohol. So the sound of the bell for human beings would be equivalent to external triggers. People, places, and things that you have historically used drugs or alcohol around will stimulate your brain unconsciously to start to think about using. Addiction is a brain disease expressed as a compulsive behavior, and recovering from addiction depends on your behavior and on the social context of how you use the drugs. So from my perspective and from the perspective of the Matrix model, the focus needs to be on behavioral change. Why you do the behaviors is not so much important as what can you do differently when you have those feelings in the future.
Thank you. My name is Andrea Weiner, and I'm the clinical director of Matrix Institute on Addiction. I'm here today to talk a little bit about stages of recovery and things you want to look out for as you're going through your own treatment. A lot of times when people are trying to get sober, they put a lot of blame on themselves because they feel like they should be feeling better sooner than they actually are. What you're going to find today, hopefully, in these stages of recovery is some kind of roadmap to follow so that when you're feeling a certain way, you'll start understanding that it's not just about the fact that you're someone in recovery who's trying to get better, but there's different things that are going on chemically in the brain that is challenging your ability mentally and physically to feel better. So hopefully you'll be able to get something out of this and you'll be able to apply it to your own recovery. Now, I just want to stress, as you're going through the stages of your recovery, structure is very important. The idea of structure will keep you focused, will give you a game plan, and will create for you a roadmap on what you're going to do on any given day at any given time. It's something to use to keep in front of you when you feel like everything else around you is overwhelming and scary.
Good evening. My name is Jean Obert, and I'm the Executive Director of the Matrix Institute on Addictions. The lecture that we get to talk about tonight is Families in Recovery. The most important thing that you can do is be involved with your family member in this recovery process. And that's a difficult thing to do, as you well know, because you've been involved in a war. Some of you may have known that you were involved in this war, and others of you may have just realized that there was a war going on and you didn't know that. The war has to do with brain chemistry. It has to do with addiction. And the enemy in this war is not necessarily the person who's addicted. The enemy in this war is the addiction itself. Monitor myself as a family member for relapses. Relapses to taking care of the other person. Relapses to not taking care of me. And I need to also, as a family member, be patient with the process of recovery. It's a long, long, lifelong process. Just know that. Did you know that more people are successful the second time they try recovery than the first? And even more people are successful the third time than the first or the second. So people don't fail when they have to do recovery more than one time. It's a natural part of the process.